what's up, everyone? It is Tuesday, November 25th here. This stream is just myself and MathWins tonight. It's going to be a little bit more laid back. We're not doing the whole SharpMoney live stream production that we usually do on Tuesday nights. Sigma and Jay are kind of out of town right now, so I think me and MathWins are just going to chat for a little while, then we'll go over to the Plus EV Discord and hit some play. So what is going on, Jeff?
Not much, man. It's been a while. I think it's been probably a couple months since I've been on stream with you guys. Good to be back.
Yeah,
Trying to fit this in with you as I try and make some numbers for tomorrow's NBA game. So we got a lot going on over here.
you're just trying to project the minutes right now.
Yeah, just getting rotations down, injury reports, looking at that kind of stuff so we can dial in who's playing and get usage modifications down. Just that kind of stuff. This is what I typically do on a weeknight or just a night before a slate. Is I'll do this stuff the night before and then tinker a little bit in the morning before we fire.
Yep. What do we have for NBA games tonight? Just a few of them, right?
We got 3 games. It's NBA Cup games. So I think Hawks, Wizards, Magic, Sixers, and then the LA teams play at 11 o'clock tonight.
Nice. Anthony's in the chat. What's going on? You haven't been in on the prediction market talk too much, but I'm sure you've been listening to a lot of the talk we've been having here. But you see Polymarket got approved by the CFCT today to launch. I don't know when. I don't know. They're still planning on launching probably around the beginning of this year, but they are officially approved.
Okay. Nice. That's solid. I haven't, I know we were talking about how they were bringing NBA props to Kalshi, and the volume there, the liquidity there is just not even worth spending time digging into right now. But I don't know. I mean, Polymarket's got a way bigger audience. I wonder if their liquidity on player prop stuff is any higher than Kalshi. I'm sure it's got to be.
They're the one thing I did notice is actually I don't know if you had time to watch the video I made today either, but it was a YouTube video about prediction markets for beginners, just kind of going over the basic like buying and selling the contracts, the bid ask prices, and some of the new terminology that some of our members are probably not familiar with. Neither was I a couple months ago. But in that process, I was looking at like Kalshi and comparing their prices to the sports books and also Polymarket, which is funny. After I made the video, I think Polymarket launched about an hour or two after. But the Polymarket markets, or the gaps in their bid ask prices, are so much tighter than Kalshi. And I should probably know this. I'm assuming Polymarket has way less fees, and that's why the markets are able to be so much tighter. But this is going to, right now, Kalshi is pretty much the only big prediction market that was available to U.S. customers. So now with, a big company like Polymarket joining as well, we should see some good competition of, so hopefully like rebates, lower fees, higher interest rates on your money in there to compete for our dollars and our action. So I think this is a very good time to start learning about prediction markets, because not only is Polymarket jumping in here now, giving Kalshi a reason to adjust their prices and fees, but also we have FanDuel, DraftKings, Fanatics all about to launch in the next couple months as well. So it's exciting times, I think.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to look into that stuff. I know I'm familiar with the fees for Kalshi, but I haven't even honestly looked at it at Polymarket. And I honestly didn't even see that news drop today. So this is the first that I'm realizing that they're even going to they're finally been approved to come to the States. I know we've been waiting on that for a while now.
Yeah, like I said, on both sides of the line for Polymarket, they have like 10 cents better on both sides of the line. So it's got to be a fee thing. And I'm not familiar with the fees on Polymarket because they haven't been legal here, but I almost guarantee they have like no fees or very slim fees. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense to make these markets or the markets be that tight, because that's the big problem with Kalshi is the liquidity is kind of there, but the bid ask price are spread so far apart where there's like no value. And when you have someone like Novig or ProfitX, their markets are super tight and have tons of liquidity. So Kalshi, I know you haven't really dabbled in Kalshi that much because there's really not too much value there at the moment. But I think in the future, Kalshi's going to offer some better stuff and tighten up a little bit, make them a little bit more valuable for us.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. I mean, more stuff has to move over there, especially as we turn the calendar here with all the just unknowns about the taxation and how, if anything's going to change, I wouldn't hold our breath that it's going to, but I think you're going to see a lot of stuff move over there. I'm just curious to see how much rec money moves over there. Like, to me, my guess is the rec money stays with the DraftKings, with the FanDuels, because those people are just either not interested in the taxes or just undereducated in actually knowing that those exist now and that it could come up to be and affect them. So I'm wondering if it's just going to be even more of the Sharp community just totally trading the prediction markets.
Well, I talked about this a couple of streams ago as well, but like FanDuel and DraftKings, they're going to launch their prediction markets in states that they're not currently have a regulated sportsbook in, which includes California, Florida, and Texas, which are the 3 biggest states.
Yeah, I do remember you talking about this.
Yeah, so it's like those people have not experienced sports betting at all. So those are your rec bettors that have no idea what they're doing. And all of a sudden, they're going to jump in. But
yeah, no, you're right.
I don't know how it's going to be structured, but we're going to get this boom of these companies giving back to the customer, just like FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars. Whenever they launch in a state, they all just slam what you go with sign up bonuses, deposit matches, and to fight for the customer. So I think we are going to see something like that. Kalshi, like I said, has been the only one big prediction market that's been legal. So I think they're going to have to fight for your dollar. Like, if Polymarket launches with 0 fees, I'm not betting a single dollar on Kalshi if they're going to charge me, 2% taker fees or something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It'll be interesting. I've messed around with Kalshi a little bit, and I've actually not been profitable on there just because I've just been messing around with it a lot. Some live stuff, some trading stuff. It's cool to be able to trade in and out of sides now versus when you kind of lock into a sports book. You have a cash out option, but it's typically not the same price you're getting as trading in and out. But, to just play bets and just let them ride out, it doesn't make any sense to play on the prediction markets right now because you can't get a better price.
Yeah, the only thing I've been just like poking around with them just to kind of get the experience, really not trying to do anything crazy profitable, just trying to get comfortable with it and learn as much as I can about it. But I'm ready for all these books to launch. And I'm really curious to see the product between like a sports book launching a prediction market versus like Kalshi, like how they're more like stock crypto focused type like style, where sports books are going to obviously cater to a sports bettor. And then the other thing I was going to mention too, actually, here's a good one. Brian said that Polymarket has much better liquidity than Kalshi and that he uses a VPN. So that's good to know. Let's see what else we got here. Here's a question. Is MathWins going to just handicap NBA and WNBA? Will you guys do MLB? So, I mean, I'll let you answer this. I mean, NBA and WNBA is a year-round process for you. I think you get like a week or 2 off. So you won't be tackling MLB, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think the WNBA playoffs ended the beginning of the first week of October, and then NBA started 2 weeks later. And that was the 2 weeks that I didn't model either one. So my hands are full with NBA and WNBA right now. They overlap in the spring. They have a 2-week break in the fall. MLB is just, it's a beast to tackle. There's so many teams and so many games every day. And if you're going to model something like MLB, you almost have to just pick a certain market and model that. Pitcher strikeouts is hard because it's probably the one with the most liquidity. It's probably the tightest. It's definitely beatable still, but it's really hard unless you're going to invest a bunch of time into modeling MLB to do it and do it successfully. A lot of respect to people who are able to model MLB props and do it successfully.
Here, this is an interesting conversation starting to brew in the chat. I think Brian said that he does a lot of futures, basically going to do a lot of long shot futures, parlays if necessary, combinations of size, totals, and props, exclusively on prediction markets to avoid the tax problem, which is that 10% tax on, or 90% or you can only claim 90% of your losses against your winnings, which is going to kill a lot of low volume bettors. One thing I was thinking though is on these prediction markets, you can play a lot of stuff that wins a lot more often than not. Like you don't have to be taking 50-50 coin flips. So maybe if you win 90% of your trades and only lose 10, that write-off won't be as bad, but it's something to think of. Anthony just replied, kind of, but it isn't just that you can turn a profit post-tax unless you're greater than 10% ROI. So yeah, you pretty much need to return over 10% ROI to overcome this tax that is on the big beautiful bill, which has not got removed yet, but that's for 2026.
Yeah, the only advantage that playing long shots gives you is you're just risking less money. Like you still need to hit that same ROI threshold to be able to be profitable as you would just playing straight bets. But if you don't hit that 10% to become profitable, your risk is just a lot less playing long shots.
Another question here by Head Trauma. What is the difference between a sports book and a prediction market besides prediction markets have more than sports? So a prediction market is basically a peer-to-peer betting exchange where if I want to bet the Celtics, then someone has to match the opposite price of me and bet the opposite team. So you're not going against a traditional sports book that is setting the price. Now, with that being said, like Kalshi and the prediction markets do have market makers, which are basically big companies or groups. And there's even internal groups that will post liquidity using their own models. So you're not going against peers all the time, but there's no actual sports book that is creating the price, and the market shifts based on who is buying and selling which side of the line. So that's the big difference there. Other big differences is like for profitable sports bettors, a book like DraftKings or Caesars, if you start making money and you prove that you're a profitable bettor, you will get limited down to only being able to bet $10, $20 per play. With these prediction markets, there's no cap on how much you can win because you're just simply betting against someone else, and there's no book saying like, hey, we don't want winners here. It's just a market that supports winners and losers. So that's a big important concept to understand too. All right, so the other thing about Kalshi that I noticed too, and we've had this conversation before, but I think there needs to be a change in how the bid and ask prices are set. Like right now, everything is in cents or full cents, or it converts to win probabilities. So like when you're bidding something at 45 cents and the other side is asking 46 cents, that 1 cent gap does not seem like much, but if you convert it to American odds, sometimes that is like 10 or 15 cents. So like as EV bettors, a lot of times we'll not play something because the American odds are off, 4 cents from the line you want. So the gap between like one win probability percent is just so massive. And I think that's why like Novig, they have American odds, but not only do they have American odds, they have precise American odds, which are decimals. So not only can you set a line at minus 110.2 or minus 110, but you can add that 0.2 to have precise American odds. And that's why their markets are able to get so tight compared to Kalshi, or I don't know how Polymarket operates, but Kalshi just operating in full like win probabilities is leaving, I think, that big gap and how tight the markets can get.
So it's interesting because I almost have the opposite take. Like as somebody who originates, I want a larger gap because I want the order book to have to stack. I want somebody to have to take a jump that is so detrimental to their price that they won't do it to undercut you. Like, because otherwise you just can't post, like you can't post higher liquidity. Otherwise you're just gonna have these penny jumpers that you see on the exchanges. So it's like, it's give and take. I think from an EV, from just a top down perspective, I think you want to be able to have the smaller increments so that you can get the best possible price because you're not posting typically. But from market making standpoint, I think market makers would want the exact opposite. So they can just stack liquidity in a queue versus having penny jumpers jump over them.
Yeah, I guess I've tried, I guess just getting your orders filled there seems so hard on Kalshi. Like I've tried putting my order in, let's just say at 45 cents, that's where the best bid price is. So I jump in there with my 200 shares and there's already 10,000 shares there. And it's like, it just never seems to get filled because I can't be any more aggressive than anyone else. And if I am, then I'm all of a sudden on the complete opposite side of the fair value price. So it's like, that's where it's tough. I think props is where the gaps are good because you can be top of the book, and props just aren't ever going to be super efficient like spreads and money lines. So I think in prop scenario, being top of the book, you might actually get filled. But when it comes to like these main lines, it just seems like it's so hard to get top of book because you're sharing it with so many people at that one big percentage jump.
Yeah, it comes down to, are you playing a price that you think is good, or are you playing a price that you know is good? Like if you know it's good, you'll sit on a number for hours, right? If you're just playing market steam, you don't necessarily want to sit on a number for hours.
Yeah. Anyway, we could do a purchase of a contract together a few times to get the hang of it on the show. We don't have any bots that find value on Kalshi right now. That is very soon going to hopefully pop up. But I just made a YouTube video. The last one I posted was about me purchasing a contract and talking through every single step. So if you're watching on YouTube, which looks like you are, go after the stream's over, go watch that video because you'll understand it perfectly the way I explained it, I think. All right, we're going to hop over to Plus EV Bot and look at some plays here. Oh, you did watch it. So in the near future, we'll do some more. We'll do some live betting on Kalshi once we have some tools up to do it. All right, here is the Plus EV Bot. It's a soccer player right here, Paris Saint-Germain.
PSG. I got you.
I'm going to play this first half soccer play. Limits are very low, but I pretty much take anything to value to Pinnacle as long as the market's not moving against it. Even with low limits, it just seems like everything closes very well. So I'm going to load this one up, see what I can get. I don't have many plays today either. I missed the morning grind. I was up too late watching the 49ers game.
I was so pissed at halftime I went to bed. I said, give me Mac Jones, and I'm going to bed.
Yeah, Purdy looked awful.
Did he play better in the second half?
Yeah, he definitely did.
He made me want to cry in the first half.
Yeah, he was overthrowing receivers by like 3 yards. All right, let's load this one up. All right, Paris Saint-Germain under goal. Plus 184, we got it. This is Wednesday. 108, that's not a
Robbie, we're going to raise your soccer cred right now. PSG. I got you.
Yeah, PSG. That's what the cool kids call it.
Well, that's what everybody calls it.
I've never heard of any of these soccer teams. So
I see Anthony's giving you shit in chat too.
Is he? Yeah. Not only soccer teams, but any basketball player that I don't know. Just try to mumble that second half of the name so no one knows what I'm saying.
Wait till we give you Coffee Coburn. Put that one up there. His last name's already spelled Cockburn.
Yeah, that's
You'll have a field day with that one.
That's good. It's
Chris Youngblood. There's some good names out there.
Yeah. Here's a good play with some steam. A couple good plays. These are first quarter bets. Let's just look at this one. Wizards, Hawks, over 62.5, minus 102. Overall, market's been moving a lot towards this over here. Market was at like 120 and moved all the way down to minus 115. So I'm going to grab this at minus 102 right now in FanDuel. Wizards, Hawks, over 62.5, minus 102. Kel's coming in late in the chat. He's usually the first comment. Said he was eating. My bad. We started earlier. I mean, usually the Tuesday stream is at 8 o'clock. So this value went up, which is a little bit concerning, but the whole market is moving down, so I'm taking it. Hawks Wizards over 62.5 for the first quarter, plus 100. Ravens Bengals under first half here. I don't love this play. Bookmaker's been moving down recently. Pinnacle has been kind of flat all day here. Not even a 1% edge. Low limits at $2,000. This is probably something I'm laying off of. Would you agree?
Can you get me a Ravens? Yeah, I'm going to hold off on this one. I need a Ravens money line, though. Find me one of those.
Might need Bengals plays because it's a hedge on our circa play. We got Chargers Raiders here. This one might be enough to get me on this one. 1.68% EV, under 39.5. So Novig to Pinnacle and Bookmaker, which is nice. Pinnacle's at plus 110. Bookmaker's at 107. I mean, we're getting at 14 cents of value here. With so far the only movement's been down towards the under. So this is something I'm going to take a stab at early in the week. I'm not going to go crazy at this line, but I do want to start to get a position growing here. Under 30.5 plus 124. Go 200. I only take plays on the exchanges getting tired of getting limited. Yeah, I mean, I only do FanDuel and the exchanges for the most part. I'll search some of the other books for like NFL spreads, mainline spreads, where I can still get like down 100. But for the most part, it's just FanDuel and the exchanges for the most part. So feel your pain there. Giants versus the Patriots. Overall movement is downwards, but it's a 1% edge. It's against the Pats, so no chance of that one covering. Let's see. There's a lot of new plays. It's college football. Nevada plus 5.5, minus 106 for the first half. Limits are too low here. I'm looking for a couple $1,000 at least for college football limits. Curious what makes Circa Survivor League so special compared to regular Survivor Leagues. I've heard guys mention it a few times, as well as VSIN mentions it a lot. I think it's just the biggest Survivor pool in the United States. That's what I would assume. I mean, the entry,
literally just the payout.
Yeah, the
That's
entry
why.
is $1,000 to enter per selection, and there was 18,000 entries. So there was $18 million to the winner of this Survivor pool. And your boys at Sharp Money still have one pick left, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Be rooting for the Ravens this week, I'll tell you that much. How mad will you be if the Lions lose and there's like 10% entries on them?
Pissed. Lions don't
Really?
lose. Yeah, somebody else can take a loss for us to gain some ground.
Yeah, I think
Dude, the Lions can't afford to give up games right now.
I know. Yeah,
we need every win we can get.
Ryan has a question here. What do you consider to be a good beating CLV percent day to day? So I'm assuming if you're using Pickett, I think me and MathWins kind of have the same strategy here. We use best available price between Circa, Bookmaker, Pinnacle, and the exchanges. The exchanges typically close around fair value. So if you can beat the exchanges price, you're doing pretty good. I shoot for, with that set up there with those books, I shoot for over 70% CLV beat. And then in terms of percentages, you want to probably be over like 2.5% just to overcome the vig of those sharp books. But that's kind of what you run at, Jeff.
Yeah, same thing here.
Here's Washington versus Oregon, first half under. Very low limits. November 26th and 29th. So we're talking, that's a Saturday. I mean, this chart looks really good. It's just the limits are so low. So it's one of those where chart looks great, but it's so early in this market. The first half points, EV is kind of low. Market's moving well though. I'm going to hit this just for like $100 if I can even get that down. I'm not going to go crazy with this one. I would also be fine with people passing on this just because the limits are so low. So we have a few more new bets pop up on FanDuel, so I'll go check those out at the bottom. Yeah, it looks like it might just be those Wizards Hawks totals pinging again. There's a play here, Eastern Michigan plus 10.5. Market's pretty stable. It's been stable for most of the day, kind of up and down movement. $15,000 limit, so this is huge. Circa did have this line has been going the wrong way all day, but maybe it's finally settled to the correct price now that it's getting close to post. And Fliff is off on this price. We're getting a 10.5 at minus 110, while Circa has a 10 at minus 110. So we're getting that free half point, especially at a key number like that. I don't think this is a terrible play. I know I already have a ton of Western Michigan bets that have a ton of value. We picked up, this movement, but on the other side of the line. So it's kind of a play where I could create a nice little middle myself. I think I have Western Michigan minus 8.5. So if they win by 10, I'd be looking real good. I might throw this one in just because I think this market is settled out to more of a correct price now. And this is a game for today. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on this side of the line now, even though I have some bets on the other, but I'm creating a nice middle for myself. Have you been catching any of these? It was Western Michigan most of the day today. Did you get any of those bets in?
No, I didn't have any of those today.
I think they were all on FanDuel, yeah. Actually, you know what? I don't know if Fliff is going to let me do this, but I already max bet Eastern Michigan. I'm not even going to touch it. I don't want my account looked at on Fliff. If I'm betting both sides on the same book, I just think it's probably not a good idea for me. How do you come up with unit sizing for your handicap plays? Jeff, you want to take that one away?
Yeah, so especially when you're handicapping player props, it's probably best to just flat bet them. When you're originating your own number, you've got a pretty good idea what your edge is once you have a decent enough sample. Like once you figure out if you have an edge or not, you can pretty typically figure out how big your edge is. But I would just always flat bet it because the certainty of the market isn't as high as main lines. So it's really harder to play Kelly on props than it is for main lines just because the lines are less accurate. So personally, I just flat bet either if I'm playing minus odds, I play to win a unit. If I'm playing plus odds, I'll bet a unit. So that's how I do it. Obviously, limits come into play there, but in a perfect world, that's how I'd play it.
Yeah, it really just comes down to there's no perfect way to determine how much edge you have. So just playing flat units are typically the way to go. Like for me with my running back projections, I can identify a line that has value for sure, and I know it's mispriced. I don't necessarily, if I had to price that line myself, I'd probably do a terrible job at actually pricing that and putting it on an exact number. I just know where the market is overcompensating or undercompensating certain props. So like I said, I don't know exactly what the EV is or where the line should be set at for the most part. So flat betting is kind of just the way that most handicappers handle that when it comes to betting.
I'm gonna have to run though, Robbie. It's been good, man.
Thanks for
I will
stopping
see you
in.
later.
See ya. Yeah, let me just adjust our screen to the solo real quick. All right. What was this question? Also, I took my low 3-digit bankroll, multiplied it by 8, starting plus EV betting in January. So thanks for the education too. That's awesome, man. Good stuff. Multiplied bankroll by 8. That's awesome. You're welcome for the educational stuff. I enjoy doing it. Love seeing people profit as well. So best of both worlds there for sure. See if there's any props, football props coming up yet. Maybe some Thanksgiving days. Oh, we got a lot. Jameson Williams over 3.5 receptions. I'm pretty sure he had 0 catches last game. Pinnacle just opened up over 3.5 minus 120. So you know what? Let's have a little fun. I don't want to be betting on Thanksgiving Day, so let's try to get some Thanksgiving bets in before that day comes up. Jameson Williams over 3.5 catches or plus 4 catches, whatever you want to call it. So it looks like we got a few Thanksgiving bets that we're going to place. Devonta Smith over 4.5 receptions. This is a 3.6% EV play. Pinnacle opened minus 133. It's moved up to minus 122. So a little bit of reverse direction here. We'll get a blank chart for AJ Brown. I don't love that, so I'm not going to play that one. George Pickens over 5.5 receptions. Pinnacle opened 5.5 minus 110. We're getting plus 14. So those are probably the only 2 plays I'm going to take right now. George Pickens over 5.5. And James Williams to get 4. Williamson to get 4. Sweet. Kel said that he enjoys this style of betting. It's kind of different. It's even a different angle than traditional EV betting, I think, to be honest. But I think the best of both worlds is when you kind of like MathWins and myself have kind of evolved is, you know, you learn how to plus EV bet. You learn how markets move, why they move, what's a good price. You know, you learn Kelly criterion, betting styles, and win probabilities. And then after that, you figure out how to use stats to actually produce your own lines. And then the combination of both is really where you can make a lot of money. But everyone starts off by trying to bet their own numbers or their own thoughts. And I feel like that never works off the bat. You need to understand kind of plus EV betting and profitable sports betting before you can even do that. So I think that's the loop most people do is they start betting with their gut or their knowledge that they have and end up losing money and then getting to plus EV betting and then maybe loop back into the stats side of things. But I always talk about it. I mean, you know, the last few years I've been profitable sports betting, my knowledge on actual sports and sports teams have dropped significantly because I don't watch the sports like I used to, especially now that I have kids. I mean, before I had kids, I was up to date on every team, every player, every trade or transaction that happened. And now for the most part, I don't watch that many sports anymore. I just bet them. So you can come in with all this knowledge about sports, but be a terrible sports bettor. Or on the flip side, you can be a very smart sports bettor and have zero knowledge about sports and still make money. So it's interesting. But being able to do both is definitely a unique skill to have. All right, guys, I think I'm going to pop off here. There will be no Thursday stream. That will be obviously Thanksgiving. So that this will be it for this week. I'll be back on Monday next week to do some Monday Night Football. Everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a great time. Spend it with your family. Hopefully eating and drinking and watch as much football as you can. Thanksgiving is awesome for that. So good luck, everyone. Hopefully you guys can make some money this weekend. And send out a prayer to the Ravens for us who have our survivor pick on the Ravens. So, all right, see you guys next time. Don't forget to watch the video I just posted on YouTube today. See ya.